Welcome to Ilydan LARP. My name's Nick, I'm one of the design team, and in this video I'm going to explain just a little bit about playing a character in our live role-playing system and what you need to do to design your first character. Ilydan LARP is a fantasy system. It's about putting aside who you normally are in your everyday humdrum world and becoming a great fantasy character to go off and be able to adventure out in the wilderness of Ilydan. We've set the system up so that you can have whatever background or whatever culture you want for your character. Ilydan is an island to which people are coming from all across the great empire of the known world. So if you want to have a character with a Saxon background, or maybe be an elven princeling, or if you want to be a barbarian, or whatever it might be, you can have that culture. You can define that. And that means that Ilydan itself is a real melting pot of lots of different characters with lots of different ideas and background and cultures behind them. It makes it a really interesting setting for the game. In creating a character, do have a look at our rulebook. It may be quite daunting, particularly if you're not used to tabletop role-playing games or other LARPs, but actually it's quite simple. Even though the rulebook is long, all you need to know for creating your character is having an idea of the sort of character you want to create, what their name is, to think through what you want to be doing, so what their character class will be, and then spend some experience points that you start off with to create that character. And the character you start off with will only have about 3 or 4 skills, so as long as you know how those skills work, you're about 80% of the way there for knowing how to play that character as far as the rules are concerned within our LARP system. So I mentioned about what sort of character you would be playing. We are a class-based system, and we encourage all players, or require all players, to take on a character class. We start off with 4 base classes from which you need to pick one. These are the 4 main classes you often find in fantasy gaming. So there is the fighter, there is the rogue, there is the priest, and there is the mage. Those are the 4 main types of class. So if you're not sure which one you're drawn to, have a think about what you might want to be doing. Do you want to be going toe-to-toe fighting against the bad guys? Maybe a fighter is the sort of character you are. Do you want to be sneaking around, stealing things, picking locks, maybe stabbing the bad guys in the back when they can't see you? Perhaps you want to play a rogue character. Are you someone who wants to be wise, to give advice, to be there for others, someone who is spiritual? Perhaps you should look into the priest class. And are you someone who wants to command magic, maybe for your own purposes, pursuing knowledge? You should look through the options under the mage. Now, every character not only has a base class, but then also chooses a specialist class to go alongside that. The reason for this is we didn't just want 4 character classes which would be quite formulaic. We wanted to make sure that you could have extra options depending on the sort of fighter or the sort of rogue you were wanting to play. So if you're a fighter, you also have to choose from one of your 4 specialist classes. Would you want to be a warrior? Someone who is a leader in battle, an absolute specialist in combat, able to command others. Or maybe you'd want to be a paladin, a holy knight with some magical powers in it to be able to heal others and to turn the undead. Or perhaps you'd want to be a tradesperson, someone who knows how to fight as a fighter, but is also a real specialist in crafting skills, being able to make things, to being able to build things. Or perhaps you want to be a barbarian, someone who doesn't wear heavy armor but is used to surviving out in the wild, someone from perhaps a low-tech culture who fights with strength and with fury. How these classes shape your character is that each class gives you an access to 8 skills. So, following through as a fighter, you will have a list of 8 fighter skills, all of which are to do with filling out the sort of class that is. So mostly they're to do with fighting, to do with resisting damage, those sorts of things. But then you might take a particular specialist class. So I mentioned the trade person. On top of those 8 skills that they have from the fighter class, if you're a specialist as a tradesperson, you will have access to another 8 skills, which are mostly to do with crafting. So you could be an artisan who can make any object in the game. You could be a builder who can create special temporary buildings in the camp, or who can create downtime places, so actual buildings. You could make armor. You can learn to do all sorts of things. You can learn how to cook as a tradesperson. Or maybe you took that fighter skill and you think, actually, no, I want to be an out-and-out fighter. I will be a warrior. You will have access to yet further combat skills, but also some skills which are useful in leading others in battle. So while they both have the fighter base class and the access to those 8 broad fighter skills, your specialist class gives you access to another 8 skills which really help to shape the character in that direction. Skills cost 3 experience points at apprentice level. You will only start out at apprentice level skills. As the game progresses, you will be able to learn more skills from your list of 16, some of which you'll have to learn at apprentice level, but eventually you will be able to upgrade some of your apprentice level skills to a higher level to become an expert, a master, or even in time, a grandmaster. And so it is, you can make your character strong in the areas you want them to be strong in. So you're starting off, you have 10 experience points to spend, just 10. Don't worry, I know that when you spend those, you'll look at your character and you'll think, they look pretty weak, a light breeze would probably knock them over. That may be true, but as soon as you start adventuring, you will learn experience points, you will find ways to turn those into upgrading those skills, and your character will progress. So with those 10 experience points, you can buy 3 apprentice skills and have 1 experience point left over. You can also have a look in the system for a list of general skills. These only cost 2 experience points each, and they're skills that anyone can learn, whatever class they're a part of. So whether it's swimming or woodcutting or basic carpentry, they are general skills which gives everyone access to a wide range of extra things. Some of it is the basic level crafting, some of it are things like swimming or getting around. So have a look at the general skills. So you could either choose 2 apprentice skills at 3 experience points each and a couple of general skills, or you could choose 3 apprentice skills and have 1 experience point to spend when you've learned a few more. So if you think of it like that, the best thing to do when you're wanting to decide on your character is think about the sort of things you'd be wanting to do when you adventure. And hopefully that will lead you to a base class. And once you've got that base class, have a look at the 8 skills that they have available to them, and then have a look at the 4 different specialist classes. I will be making videos on each one to talk you through why we designed them the way that we did. And when you look at those specialist classes, see if there's any that really strike you as, yes, this is the character I have in mind. And have a look at the 8 specialist skills that they have, some of which are unique to those character specialist classes. And think, yeah, that's the one I want to do. If you want to be crafting and building and trading, tradesperson is a really good one to look at. If you want to be out there raging and fighting and tough and battling against things and skinning lizards and eating them to survive, maybe you're a barbarian. But you can have a look at those. Once you've got your base class and your specialist class, decide what skills you want, and then you're pretty much done. Some skills need to be powered by PowerPoints. All characters will have a number of PowerPoints which those PowerPoints cover the whole range of skills, whether it's hitting with a sword to do extra damage, doing a double blow, that would cost 1 PowerPoint, or whether it's you're a mage, you're casting a magic spell, that will draw on your PowerPoints. So wherever the skill descriptions have a PowerPoint cost, you will need to learn a power skill such as fighter power or warrior power in order to gain PowerPoints to spend on those skills. But that's getting a little bit too much into the mechanics of the game. This is more character creation. I'll talk about mechanics in another video. So I hope that gives you some sort of idea. We are always available at Ilydan LARP to talk to you about the system and about the characters that you want. So drop us an email, or maybe ask to have a little Zoom meeting. We're always up for that. We want to support our players so that you can be playing the character you want to play and you understand exactly what it is you're doing. One last thing, as it just occurs to me, the skills that you choose will define the in-character equipment that your character begins with. One thing with Ilydan, you're arriving on a new island. There aren't shops, as far as you're aware. There might be a few people to trade with, but you can't just turn up and say, I'd like this armor and that weapon and this jewelry. You will only have those things that your starting skills say. And if you learn a new skill and it requires equipment for it, you're going to have to find that equipment in game. You're either going to have to make it or find it or steal it or trade for it. So if you start off as, say, a warrior and you have warrior armor mastery, you can wear whatever armor you like. You can come in with a full suit of heavy armor if you wish. If you have great weapon mastery, you will start with a great weapon. If you've got a big axe or a great sword, you will start with that. But you will only start out with those things that relate to your skills. So if you then go on and learn something like craft military equipment, you're going to need tools to create new military equipment. You've got to find those in games. That's just another thing to think about when you're weighing up your starting skills. Those skills, you will have the equipment to use those skills. But any skills you're planning to learn early on, you'll need to get the equipment to go with them if they need them. Well, that's about enough for me about character creation for now. If you've got any questions, do get in touch. And I hope I see you soon at a LARP. Come and join us at Ilydan.